Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm actually here to do a draft analysis for another league. As you can see, this is the APBL. It's a Wi-Fi league, which is kind of exciting. I guess I'm looking forward to participating. It was a points draft this time, so I guess I'm gonna go through my team today. So I guess here we go. So for the first pick, I decided to get something that I thought that I'd really enjoy using. I still really enjoy using it. I've used it in OU a lot. I've used it in a couple of leagues before that I haven't uploaded, but whatever. That Pokemon is Tapu Koko. Of course, Tapu Koko is one of the best mons in League formats, widely regarded as being one of the better mons in League format. It has some really nice stats, 115 attack, 95 special attack, 130 speed. I think the speed is really what sets it apart from other Pokemon that could be ran as more of a mixed attacker, as more of a special attacker as well. Also, with electric terrain, Stab Thunderbolt or Stab Wild Charge can be boosted really high, because you can run just a purely special set, Thunderbolt, Dazzling Gleam. You can run a mixed set because Tapu Koko gets quite a few physical moves as well. U-turn, it gets Brave Bird, it gets just Stab Wild Charge as well. But yeah, that's really Tapu Koko, and that's going to be one of my Z captains as well, as you can see. Moving on to the next pick, and I thought I really want to get a good fighting type to go with this, but I decided against going with Hawlucha because I want to try something different this time. But yeah, I went with Megalopunny. Tapu Koko with Megalopunny, it's a really solid offensive core. It's got Lopunny has really high attack and speed as well. Normal fighting with Scrappy means that its dual stab's completely unresisted. Ghost types can't switch in on fighting stab, and steel types can't switch in on normal stab unless they want to take a high jump kick to the face. So yeah, that's really all Megalopunny does. It can fake out, it can power up punch, I think it can dry pass as well. Gets access to cosmic power, so I can just run some memes like that. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about Lopunny. So next up, I decided to get myself a bulky Psychic type. That will kind of help deal with Megalopunny being weak to fighting types. And I thought, I think bulky Psychic types are really good with Megalopunny. So I went with Reuniclus. I was tossing up between this and Necrozma. I think Necrozma might have gone before it came to my turn again, but yeah, Reuniclus is a really solid bulky Psychic type. Regenerator and Magic Guard, two really good abilities. I can pretty much set up Calm Minds. Gets reliable recovery as well. It actually gets access to quite a few utility options as well. T-Wave, I think it gets Toxic as well. It can set up Trick Room too, which I'm not sure whether I'll need it with the Tapu Koko and the Megalopunny on my team. But yeah, that's really all Reuniclus. Reuniclus it's just a really nice mon. It can just set up and win, or it can just come in and wall something, or it can just be more of a supportive set. But yeah, that's going to be Reuniclus. I decided to go ahead and start filling out my Firewater Grass, Fairy Dragon, Steel cores. So the next pick I decided to get was Ferrothorn, and I've used Ferrothorn with Megalopunny before. I think it's just a really good mon. It can set up Stealth Rocks. It gets spikes as well. Knock off Gyro Ball, Leech Seed. Doesn't get reliable recovery, unfortunately. So yeah, that's kind of a problem. But it's a really nice mon. It can only really be whittled down by Burn. If a Fire type wants to come along, then I probably won't stay in, considering I'm a Grass and Steel type. It's got some really high HP and defenses with quite low speed. 94 attack is actually pretty decent, so I could potentially run like an offensive Choice Band Ferrothorn or something along those lines. But yeah, that's Ferrothorn. So I was considering I was thinking about going with Zygarde 50% with the remainder of the points I had left, because that was actually still on the board. but unfortunately it did go. The round I got Ferrothorn, so I decided to go with Zygarde 50%'s baby brother, Zygarde 10%, also known as Zygarde Dog. Honestly, I'm fine with this. Zygarde Dog form actually has it's much faster than regular Zygarde, for instance, has the same base attack stat, obviously has access to 1,000 arrows as well. Even though it's like a little frail, it's actually 85 SPDF is actually pretty decent bulk, even with 54 HP. So I can potentially just run it banded, or I can set up sub-coil sets, or I can even run Dragon Dance if I really wanted to. I might do. I think it's more likely to be run Choice Band or something because of like its attack is a little lackluster and it already has the speed to the point where I don't know whether I'll need Dragon Dance or not. So moving on, I thought, considering that I wanted to get something that I could pass wishes off onto something, I wanted a good bulky water type. I think you can probably guess what I'm getting next, and you would be correct in saying it is Vaporeon. So, it's obviously very well known for being able to pass very high wish stats off. It's base 130 HP. It can pass some really, really high wishes off. I'm not entirely sure how much of my team, what my team's HP stats. Looking at my team's HP, so Zygarde is 54. 74 Ferrothorn, I think 65 on Lop and then 70 on Tapu Koko. I'm not entirely sure how much health I can pass with one wish on this Vaporeon, but I know that I can be a really nice cleric with this thing. It actually has a decent special attack stat as well, so it's not like completely passive. It can get some decent scald damage off on some things as well. Next up is going to be, I think my team was really, the one thing it was lacking was removal, and I thought, considering how pivot-y my playstyle is, Tapu Koko, Megalopunny, and Vaporeon all get access to forms of momentum. I think dry passing is allowed in this league. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll have to double check. So I decided to get something that could spin hazards away to the point where I wouldn't have to come in on rocks every time and just continually get whittled down. And that was Kamala. And Kamala is, I think it's just really, really underrated as a mon. 8 points is a little high for it, but whatever. It's got really solid kind of bulky stats as well. It gets access to Comatose, which means it can't have a timer put on it because it can't be toxic. It can only be put to sleep, I think, is how Comatose works. I made a play in CNL with leaving my Rotom in and Will-O-Wisping this thing, which was a little stupid. Anyway, but yeah, it actually gets access to Rapid Spin, of course. Nice, gets Wish as well, so I could potentially use this as a backup cleric. This actually gets U-Turn, so, I've completed a Volt Turn core with Tapu Koko and Kamala. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. And moving on to the next Pokemon, I thought I may as well get myself a decent fire type. I was tossing up between this and a couple of other options, but I think I may as well get myself something that can be ran as a decent Z captain as well. So I opted to get Magmortar, and I've never used Magmortar before, to be honest. I'm relatively inexperienced with this thing. I know it gets access to a bunch of special moves. It gets Mark Punch as well for priority. So I decided to make it my other Z Crystal user because it was Tapu Koko was 18 points. I had 25 points to build up Z captains, but and Magmortar was 7. So I decided to get this and put a Z Crystal on it. But Magmortar is actually surprisingly versatile as a Pokemon. It gets access to Belly Drum as well, so it can be a physical attacker. You can just run a Scarf with 4 special attacks. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. With the Z Crystal, I can run something like just nuke something. I can run something like Fire Z with status, or some kind of Z move with status. But that's really all I have to say. Looking at my team, I think again, really the one thing that I'm kind of missing or there are one or two things that I'm kind of missing, and that is the ability to set hazards, and you know, I only have Ferrothorn that is able to do that. So I decided to get a different hazard setter. I thought I would just get a lower tier one, considering I didn't want to use all of my points on a high tier hazard setter. You know, I had to get 11 Pokemon, I couldn't get 9, 10, couldn't get 12. But I decided to get Rhydon, and this thing is a lot better than people give it credit for. It's essentially Rhyperior, just with less physical attack, and it can hold an Eviolite, which boosts its bulk to pretty high levels. I can run double dance with this thing, even though it has base 40 speed. You know, it's a rock setter. I think it gets quite a bit of coverage as well. But yeah, Rhydon, I think mainly I grabbed this because I wanted to be able to set Stealth Rocks up, and I wanted another decent wall to be able to have in my team, to just be able to not be so reliant on Reuniclus, Vaporeon, Ferrothorn, that kind of thing. Moving on to, I think, yeah, really my team is just seriously lacking hazard removal. I don't want to be reliant on Kamala, I don't want to use Tapu Koko to defog, so I decided to get myself another way to get rid of hazards, and that other way was also my Grounded Poison type and my Pursuit Trapper, which is very good for Megalopunny as well. So that's just kind of my advice when you're drafting it, is get a Psychic type, and then get a bulky Psychic type, and then get a Pursuit Trapper as well to be able to deal with other bulky Psychics, and I got Skuntank. It's another decent wall if I want to run it as a wall. It doesn't get reliable recovery, unfortunately, but it can't be toxic, and it actually absorbs status. That's why I decided to pick this over something like Wheezing. It also gives me access to defog again, and it gets like a pretty decent amount of coverage. It gets Flamethrower off the top of my head. You know, Dual Stab with Sucker Punch. It can be run physical, special as well. You know, its stats are pretty decent. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about Skuntank. And so my team is actually kind of slow outside of Koko, Lop, and then Zydog. Those are the only 3 mons I have that's higher than base 100 speed. So I decided to go ahead and get myself something to bridge the gap between, I think, my highest speed tier under base 100 is Magmortar? I'm not sure. No, it's Skuntank, actually. But I decided to get myself something to bridge the gap there with the 6 points I had left, and that was Scyther. And Scyther, again, it's actually quite a lot better than people give it credit for. You know, it's actually it's got a really high base physical attack stat, base 110. You know, it can U-turn, gives me stab on U-turn as well. Bug flying with Technician as well, boosts something like Bug Bite, Aerial Ace. This thing can run through a team if you're not prepared for it. And yeah, that's basically all I have to say about the team. For those of you who are watching, I guess let me know what you think of the team, and I will see you guys with week number 1 of the APBL. That should be up. I'm not sure when I'm going to be playing my week 1 opponent, but yeah, that should be up at some point. Yeah, let me know what you think of the draft, and I'll see you with week 1 of the APBL.